On this episode, we're ranking the top atmospheres for Walt Disney World restaurants. Today is March 22nd, 2024. This is episode 652 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey, guys.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. If you've not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join. If you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, you get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. If you're planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World and you want to get the absolute best in atmospheres for advanced dining reservations, but you didn't quite get it, don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service. And then finally, if you're getting ready to plan that next Disney World or Disneyland trip, maybe you're looking to visit one of the Universal parks, go on a cruise, or pretty much travel anywhere else in the world, head on over to mainstmagictravel.com and get a free quote. Our travel services are completely free to you. So today we're continuing our Ranking Restaurants series where we've got a bunch of different categories that we are going to rank those restaurants from.
Okay.
The next one that we will do will be Animal Kingdom, because we are dining at Tiffin's next week, and it's been a long time since we ate there. We want to give it another shot. So then after we dine there again, we'll go ahead and rank all of the Animal Kingdom restaurants, because then we would have done them all. But today we're talking all about atmospheres.
Ooh.
So this is not going to include the food, right?
Okay.
So when we go and we rank
we
these,
talk about the food?
Of course we can. I mean, honestly, we could talk. I think food could play into it, not counting taste, because the food and the way that it's presented, or the way that it looks, or the way that it fits a theme, I think could still fit into atmosphere.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So we have 20 total restaurants throughout Walt Disney World property. The first 5 we're going to rank are going to be, I don't want to say regular, but they don't technically have a specific theme. Like when we get into the other 15, the top 15, they're very much themed in some way, shape, or form, where these aren't quite in that same kind of over-the-top way that they're done.
Okay.
So let's talk about the first 5. We are not going to include Victoria and Albert's.
No, because we have not eaten there yet.
We have not eaten there yet. And again, it's one of those, I mean, it's on such a different level. I mean, once we finally do eat there one day, which we hope to and will, I don't know that we would ever include it in any of these lists, just because it is such a different animal, unless we end up doing that and we do Takumi Tay and we do Monsieur Paul and then all of a sudden we do a top 5 elevated dining experiences or something. But all right, let's go through our first 5 restaurants, and what do we have at number 5?
Coming in at number 5, we have Citrico's, and I think for me, really, it coming in at number 5 is it is newly refurbed and done in the Mary Poppins, which I like that a lot. Yeah,
but not enough to make our themed list.
Correct.
It's a very light.
It's very light, but it is beautiful. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think there's other places I like better. So that's why.
And I think these first 5 that we're going to, we just wanted to kind of chat about them, because I do think that they belong on a list on just maybe magical atmospheres or elegant atmospheres, or, these are the type of places, romantic. I mean, this could fall under a lot of different things. And I think Citrico's fits that bill very, very well, along with anything pretty much at Grand Floridian. What do we have at number 4?
Toledo, which is Grand Destino Tower. Yes, the very tip top. That's a really cool look inside. I really like that. And then you can't see. Well, I guess depending if you're on the far.
If you're on the far left side as you walk in, you could catch Magic Kingdom fireworks. There's very certain seating, and there's even some private rooms that are back there. But this I think fits the bill with our 5 that are all very elegant. They're, this isn't technically signature fine dining, but it has that feel to it. You have the big arched ceiling with the stained glass.
Mm-hmm.
You have
that
the olive
up.
trees.
I just started to say the olive trees are really cool. They are fake though.
Yes, they are. It has this. Real. It gives you this indoor-outdoor feel and setting, which is amazing up on a 16th floor of a building. And you have this open kitchen area that you can see into, and it's really beautiful here. We've dined here twice. It has been a while, but and what I think, even if you almost want to do an extension of this one with atmosphere, would take you out into Dahlia Lounge.
I was just gonna say, I really like how Dahlia Lounge is right there too, and it's just really cool and pretty, and it's all Spanish. So I think that right there just says in itself how elegant and pretty it is.
Yeah.
And then there's the outside where you can go and hang out.
Yeah. Dahlia, if you're and that's what this is. This basically sets itself up as Toledo's bar area. Even though you can't go sit at Dahlia and get Toledo's menu, it is a great waiting area. It's a before, dinner area. It's an after dinner area for cocktails, additional appetizers, anything you want like that. So it really sets up the whole picture for that. Coming at number 3, we're back at Grand Floridian. And this is one of the most newly refurbished restaurants, and I think they just killed it at Narcoossee's.
Yes.
It is stunning in here.
Yes.
It has this really warm feeling, even though it is very elegant. Like the tones, the color palettes that they picked out with some of the blues, and it has this, I think you could actually pick up Narcoossee's and put it at Yacht Club, and it would fit as well.
Yeah. I love that it's on the water. That is just... I don't know what it is about being like on water and stuff. It's just really, really cool. And it just takes you almost away and you don't feel like you're at a resort.
Yeah. And it's that extension of the restaurant when you're dining that they will keep your food warm. If you're there during fireworks, they'll keep your food warm. You can go out, you can stand out on that balcony area that, surrounds the restaurant and watch the fireworks and watch Happily Ever After. Or if you have finished up your dining, you can go out there and wait and watch it, which is what we did last time on our anniversary.
Yes.
And it was just absolutely amazing. They did such a good job here. And I like that they leveled it all.
Yeah.
You used to have these tiers and you had the bar area that was sunken down. And
that was
then
weird.
You had like 2 tiers of tables. And it was kind of interesting. And now it's much more of like a cohesive place. And it's absolutely beautiful. What did we pick for number 2? Speaking of fireworks, that's where our top 2 are looking at.
Yeah. And we are over at Riviera for Topolino's. That place is just, it's again, top of the tower that it's in, and it's just beautiful and elegant, but you don't feel it's elegant and beautiful, but you don't feel like you have to be dressed up.
Yeah.
I like how this one, I feel like the tables aren't on top of each other.
I was just going to say, to me, this feels like the most spacious restaurant. Maybe we'll get to another one on our list in the top 15. I don't know that we will.
I know.
This might be one of the most spacious restaurants in Disney World.
I really like it.
Yeah.
Because
you never
of
feel
that.
like you're on top of other people there. And it's because it's large in there.
It
really is. And again, you can walk out and watch, the fireworks from Epcot right from that outdoor area. It has a great bar setting.
It does.
Which,
and
sometimes
you can eat.
You miss a lot in some of
I
these
love
places.
the bar areas, period, because you can usually eat the full menu, which is so cool. Like Narcoossee's, Topolino's, like it is really cool.
Yeah. It's the one thing really that Toledo and Citricos are missing.
Yes.
I wish that they had a bar area that you could walk up to and still dine on the full menu the way that you can with our top 3, which, if nobody's caught on, number 1 is
California
what?
Grill. Yeah. And again, I love this place. It's great. The food is fantastic. No matter if you come morning, noon, or night up there and just looking over Magic Kingdom, to me, that is just gorgeous.
Yeah.
At night, it's gorgeous. And then on a nice, clear day, it's gorgeous. It's even kind of neat on a rainy Florida weird day.
Yeah.
Because we've experienced all of it.
It's still beautiful.
It is. And then you have the places where you can go out and watch, and then you have the bar where you can go eat. And I think I don't really drink wine anymore, but when you come up and just the wine bottles everywhere is just so cool. And now, although this one is more scrunched, it's still great and fine. Like that's, I think, the one thing I loved during COVID when you couldn't.
You had your distance.
You did
between people, and you can kind of sit on top of people here a little bit, but it's not. I mean, it's not awful, but I mean, your atmosphere here starts from the moment you check in, downstairs. Yeah, and they put you on an elevator with a cast member and take you up, and like you said, you walk out and there's this giant, wall of wine that you can look, and then you turn that corner and you see the sweeping views.
It's all glass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's just so cool.
It is nice. So that was just, those are like our 5 to put in there because we wanted to separate them some. I mean, I honestly think California Grill could be number 1, even if we included it with the theme ones in some ways, but sometimes it's hard to beat a good theme.
Yes. So
with our more themed style restaurants, we went ahead and did 15. We could have put this in a top 10, but there were a couple we definitely wanted to talk about. Some that we went back and forth, and then they ended up not making our list because I think there's a fine line at one point where you think, what is themed? Is Morimoto Asia themed?
Right.
Well, yeah, technically it is, but I think Morimoto could have gone more with the ones we just talked about.
Yeah.
A boathouse, things like that. So ones that we were kind of kicking around were like Raglan Road.
Yes.
Very much themed. It is themed to...
It's an Irish pub bar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Whispering Canyon was another one. And this one, I think, it's not so much the theme of the actual restaurant and the way that it looks, which obviously fits perfectly in a Wilderness Lodge.
Right.
It's the atmosphere of the cast members and the wait staff.
And being in Wilderness Lodge. Yeah. Really.
And looking out into the lobby.
Yeah.
And so you got to take all those things into consideration. But in the end, like those were 2 we just decided not to put on our list. So let's start with number 15, which, what's number 15?
Ohana.
Yeah.
I think because it's so like Hawaiian like themed, like Hawaii and like if you have a lei on and you just it reminds me of literally when we were in Hawaii and you'd go and sit at a restaurant and then you literally have the characters that come around in the morning though. And then at night you can sit, and if you can sit at a certain table you can see the fireworks too.
Yeah, and that's where this one I think goes a little bit back and forth for me. I think it still fits such a great atmosphere because you walk in and there's the kitchen, there's the open kitchen, and you can see them getting like for dinner the pineapple bread out, and they're the staff is taking that and taking it to tables. I think it's the atmosphere of them bringing the food to your table and walking around. It's definitely the atmosphere of how the cast members are dressed, how a lot of the guests are dressed, but a lot of it does rely on whether you're up against that window or not. And the views that you get overlooking the pool and the volcano there and the beach and the water, and then seeing, like Magic Kingdom and all in the distance, and the potential for things like fireworks if you're there at night.
Right.
I just think it heavily relies on that, which is the reason that it sits way back at 15.
Yeah.
As opposed to moving way up.
Yeah.
Where I think you get a lot more opportunity for views if we go back to a California Grill, a Topolino's and things like that. What comes in at number 14?
Yak and Yeti.
Yeah.
I think it is cool, but because there's so much in there.
Yeah,
it's just kind of overwhelming where it's so much that you just overlook it. Does that make sense?
No, it does make sense. There's a lot to take in here.
There is.
And I think that's part of what makes the atmosphere so great. I even think from, walking up, you're walking through Asia and you're walking up in here and it's always crowded.
Yes, it is.
Which oddly adds to the atmosphere. Because it almost feels like this like bustling Asian marketplace, and from the time you come and you check in, and like you said, there's so much going on. There's stuff everywhere. You can walk around this restaurant. It's 2 floors. Yeah. Which I think lends to this overall atmosphere, the music that's playing, just everything about it, really just fits the bill down to the food and the presentation of the food, which is one that I think fits so very well, is having all this Asian cuisine and these dishes that come out. It's just really good. And I think coming through and seeing that bar, the 6-seater bar as you're getting ready to head to your table, I think just kind of fits into that whole bill as well. What about number 13? I got to fight a little bit, I feel like, to get this on.
I know. I started to say, this is one of your favorites, and we're talking about Magic Kingdom Skipper Canteen. I think, to me, it's, I guess, hit or miss. I think I wish, if anything, and I don't know like where they could put it, but it should be over more by Jungle Cruise. Like, I feel like if you could see some water.
Yeah.
And then I say hit or miss because they're supposed to do the puns and everything. And it's funny because I'm kind of happy it's hit or miss, because if it's hit, then I feel like sometimes I'm like, and laughing, like trying to, because I feel like bad. And then when it's miss, I'm like, oh, thank God. It's different. I like the different rooms and like,
No, I get that. The part of what makes the atmosphere is the cast members and if they're doing their little shtick, right?
Yeah.
So that is a major part of it. But I understand that it can be one of those, I don't like to be a part of the show.
Right.
And while this isn't a show, you do feel that need that even though I do think the jokes are funny, you have to like LOL them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just to make them feel good, you're right. You kind of have to do the fake laugh like, oh, I get it. And then you kind of are like, all right, now what?
Yeah.
But this is another one where, there's so many nods, like you said, the different rooms. There's nods to the Seas and the Adventurers Club, and there's so much.
I like those
throughout that it's another one that you really can't, because you'd be like standing next to somebody's table, like hovering over their dish to look at the stuff that's on the wall. But you can really, this is one where I would say, get up during your meal and just kind of take a lap around. When you look at this, you look at Yak and Yeti. I compare them to a Hard Rock Cafe or a Planet Hollywood, where if you go to those places and you go to the hostess and they come to seat you, and the only things you see are from that hostess stand to your table, you're doing yourself a disservice. Like, you're doing yourself a disservice by not getting up and walking around a little.
Yeah.
As long as you're not annoying to other patrons.
Right.
But just to walk around a little bit, even if you just get up and go, you know what, I'm going to go to the bathroom and I'm going to just look at everything that's around. And there's so much to take in. And I think Skipper Canteen does such a good job of that. And then even down to, I don't know if you want to talk menus as being atmosphere. The menus and the menu items and the way that they're labeled. The fact you can get a whole fish here.
Yeah.
Fits into the atmosphere.
I agree. I agree.
Like all those types of things.
Yeah.
And the food, of course, is outstanding. So that doesn't count, but I'm going to throw that in there. All right, let's move on to, I think number 12 and number 11. This is neat because our next four are almost paired up in twos. So number 12 and number 11, I think, are very similar. At number 12, we have Sanaa. And at number 11, we have Coral Reef.
And when you say similar, because of the theme of they both have animals.
Yep.
Obviously, Sanaa has, I guess, animals and amphibians.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're amphibians. They're not considered animals,
Wow,
right?
what's the bird's name? What's considered amphibians? What are you talking
Well,
about?
I mean, or the...
At Sanaa?
No, the Coral Reef. Because it's...
Fish?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fish.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, can you group them all into animals?
Yes. Fish are animals.
Are they?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Are you being serious right now? Animal would be like the entire thing that you call all of these living creatures.
Oh, okay.
Then they would go into subsets of things like birds or mammals or fish or, amphibians. Like,
okay.
Yeah, you could go that route.
Okay. Well, they're both animals.
Yeah.
Which is really cool because then you have the animals from Sanaa, which is Animal Kingdom, and then walking
What's
around.
What's the bird's name? Oh, I can't remember the bird's name.
Crane.
The crane. Fraser.
Fraser.
Yes, that's right.
Fraser Crane.
Yeah, that we got introduced. He was at the window the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that Carson introduced us to.
Yes.
He's like, that's their bird.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's
he
really
actually
cool.
will come up to the window because the animals can't because they have the barriers in place, so they can't come right up to the windows. And the only reason that Sanaa falls one behind at number 12 is because really at Coral Reef, you have the opportunity to basically wherever you're sitting in Coral Reef, you can see this giant aquarium, right? Whereas at Sanaa,
right.
if you are further away from the windows, everything's on one level. It's tiered.
Yes.
At Coral Reef.
Yes.
So everybody has a view.
Yes.
Sanaa, you're not guaranteed to be able to see the animals if you're further away from the window because you're on level ground and, you'd be looking through other people and stuff like that. But if you sit along that window or one or so back, you can definitely see some animals. Yeah. The other reason that Sanaa falls back one is there is definitely not a guarantee.
Right.
The animals, depending on your time, the animals could be feeding.
Right.
They could be resting. They could be doing a whole bunch of different things. Whereas Coral Reef, the fish are always out. Like they're always swimming
They're always
about.
swimming around.
So you're going to see stuff
Yeah.
pretty much no matter what there.
Yeah.
But Coral Reef really does do a good job throughout as well of fitting the bill with the way that they have like the what do you even call it? The partitions that are going between kind of all the tables and the levels are all that like glass and like mosaic. The colors in there are so fitting to underwater, so it actually carries over this underwater theme from the aquarium into the restaurant based on colors and things like that. Seashells and all are put it within these different barriers. And Sanaa does a good job as well. I mean, inside of Sanaa is very decorated and has the theming of like, Africa or the jungle. You've got thatched roofs and stuff that are going above like the bar area. You have those trees, the trees that kind of come up, and you have almost like branches that are coming out through parts of the ceiling. That is to look like.
That is really cool too.
So it's really
I love that.
It's really well done here. And
I think the bread service there too actually is part of the theming.
I mean, it can be part of the atmosphere.
I mean, the atmosphere. Yeah. I mean, you have how many different sauces?
9.
9.
You got 9 sauces. Like you got 4, 12. I believe 4 different types of naan that you can get there. And it's one of those, I think, where like when you walk in and you walk past the table, if you don't know about the bread service, you're going to walk past the table and see it and go, what is that?
Right.
Excuse me, what did they get? Because I want to know,
100%.
I want to get that. So to me, that lends very much into the atmosphere as far as that stuff goes, right?
Right. Absolutely.
All right, let's move on. What I think is number 10 and number 9, I think are similar in ways as well. All right, coming in at number 10 is Akershus. And this, while I do think the setting is cool, you're inside of a Norwegian castle, right? It's nothing that's truly familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Except that it looks like a castle. You're not walking in going, I'm in so-and-so's castle.
Right.
But it has a familiar feeling of a princess's castle. Now, for here, what truly puts it on the map as far as atmosphere is that you are going to have princesses walking around.
Right.
So that certainly lends into the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really, too, this is the first one on our list where I think atmosphere also goes to the fact that all of your staff, your cast members are Norwegian.
Yeah.
Right?
That's really cool.
This is the first restaurant on our list that is part of the atmosphere. That is part of the authenticity of eating in Norway and having somebody wait on you that is from Norway.
Yeah.
And so I think that really fits. We're going to have some other castles on the list, maybe. How do you think this fits in there? Like, is this something that we've eaten there for breakfast, we've eaten there for dinner.
Right.
Both times, or even the first time we walked in for dinner, what did you think? Like, was it something you were taking? Did you think, wow, this is a really cool atmosphere?
I thought it was really cool. I think because of other castles I've been in, I think it was the least amount of wildness, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like, I was like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, it's pretty and I love it. And the chairs and like, and looking around. But yeah, it's just not the, I think, wildness I expected, but I really enjoy it. And it's a simple wow. Does that make sense?
If this didn't have princesses, which are a major part of the atmosphere, this would probably be number 15.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think it jumps all the way up to number 10, 5 spots, simply because of the princesses.
Yeah.
So, but I think even without them, you still get that feeling of, I'm in a castle.
Yeah.
I don't know whose it is, but I'm in one, and it's pretty cool.
And I feel like a castle room.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because you got to think, too, walking up from the outside
Mm-hmm.
There is not the giant facade of a castle.
Correct.
Whereas there might be at some other places. I'm not sure. When I was saying earlier, when I was comparing Coral Reef and Sanaa, and I said the next two are similar, I didn't mean to lump in Akershus. What I meant was actually our number 9 and our number 8.
Yeah.
Those are the two that I meant are very similar, and I think you could swap these two.
Yes, I agree.
So what's coming in at number 9? And as I'm looking at it, you could easily swap these two.
Yeah.
But what's number 9?
Beer Garden.
Yeah.
And we'll go ahead, and number 8 is San Angel and Restaurant. And the reason I feel like, you could swap them out, Beer Garden is very outside looking on the inside, which is really cool.
It's an indoor-outdoor feel.
Right, and the same for San Angel.
Yeah.
It's on... Oh, sorry. And it's on water, which again, I don't know why being on water to me when you're eating just gives it such a different, neat feel. And then there's the like volcano, and that's the Three Caballeros.
Yeah, the pyramid
ride,
the Mayan
yeah.
pyramid. Yep. Yeah, I agree. Like that's what takes us up above Beer Garden is the fact that you get to see a boat coming by. You get to see the Three Caballeros ride vehicle coming through, and Beer
very
Garden,
dark in there though.
Yeah, Beer Garden to me is one that you walk into and you sit down and you feel as though at first you're inside a large hall watching this stage show, and then for me, like, it was a little bit, and I was like, oh wait, no, we're supposed to be outside. Like, these are facades of buildings around us to make it look like we're in a square, a town square or something, and it is in the middle of Oktoberfest, and we're watching this show, with music and dancing and all that. And so I think it does a really good job of that. Whereas, Santa Angel just gives it that incredible feeling all the way down from the fact that not only are you looking over the water and the boats are coming by, you're looking at the Mayan pyramid and that volcano kind of going in the background. To your other side is a bustling Mexican market.
And what's really cool is I was just going to say, I knew you were going to start talking about, it's not crazy, like annoying. Like, I don't know how, because we're sat down and maybe voices like voices rise
maybe.
Or something.
Something about the acoustics in there.
Something about it that when we've eaten there a few times, the line ride could be long. The Cava can be long as well. And then there's bustling people in the marketplace. And I've never, ever in there felt like, oh man, we really need.
How do they do that?
I don't know. But I'm like, because there's a lot of times like Caribbean Beach. What's the new, not the new restaurant, but the restaurant you love and
Sebastian's Bistro?
Thank you.
Oh, it's loud as all get
Oh
out
my
in that
gosh.
place. Yeah.
The last one of the times we were there, I couldn't hardly hear you. And I know I'm getting older, but Lord, I'm not that old.
Well, if you look at something like Sebastian's from an acoustic standpoint, you have a much smaller space. Most everything is wood.
Yeah.
Right? You got lower ceilings. When you look at San Angel, it is this large open space. It is filled with goods, like clothing and cottons and, all these things that will absorb sound. Like you said, it's got this huge high ceiling.
And we're sat down.
You're sat down low.
Lower. And
what I think, what I would say it is like being in a movie, or watching a movie, right? If you watch, let's take Indiana Jones when they're going through the market, right? Right before he gets in the battle and he shoots the guy. That's awesome. It's like a movie where it is made that all you hear is the two leads talking to each other. But in a surround sound scenario, you can hear the bustle around you, but you don't know what they're saying. You don't hear specifics. It's not too loud. Somehow that's the atmosphere that they got.
Yeah. It's really
cool. I
cool.
don't know how they did it.
I don't either.
Because it's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's such a cool place.
It is.
And
I kind of want to go back here now.
The more we're talking about it, I'm like, I could easily have this bump our next two. I could have San Angel bump our next two.
Okay.
And maybe if we do a final list, that's what it'll be. But what comes in at number 7?
Well,
which is not like being in a movie with light background.
No, I love number 7 though, and I thought it could have gone higher, but Roundup Rodeo Barbecue, and especially if we're talking obviously theme. I mean, first of all, you're in Andy's backyard. You go into this awesome place that he's made, and you're still a toy. So, I mean, you see all of a bunch of just toy stuff and you know, like all the Toy Story stuff. It's very overwhelming too.
It
like
is.
a large carton of milk.
Yeah.
Well, not. I mean, like what a human would drink. The little cute ones when you go to school and get it.
Yeah.
And I mean, just things like that. And then I love when we're all toys and here comes Andy and we have to just not move and not speak. And holy, when that happens, I mean, it gives me chills because it's just so stinking cool.
Yeah. And it's all part of the atmosphere.
It is.
I mean, even unfortunately, they're not there anymore. Even the giant pencils
I know
to sign your check with was a wonderful part of the atmosphere.
It was.
You know, the way that your cast members in their uniforms are, like everything is
The plates.
just their costumes. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say uniform. Yeah.
The plates.
I know.
They're actual plates that can break, but they look like a backyard paper plate.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
with the little ridges
so
around the
cool.
edge. It does. They did a really, really good job
really
here.
good.
And, you know, I understand how cool it would have been to have this be character dining. But
Yeah.
you could not have the current atmosphere and put characters in there. It would be just so much overload.
Yeah. I
that
think
it wouldn't
it's
work.
perfect.
Now, you could fit character dining in here because they would technically fit along the theme of being toy sized and you being a toy size. You know what I mean? So, again, when people go back and go, why isn't there Al's Toy Barn? Because that was human sized. You can't put it in there. Why is there not a Pizza Planet? It was human sized. It would have to sit outside of Toy Story Land
Right.
in order for it to fit
Well,
their theming
they
and their
could have
idea.
done that.
They could have 100% done a Pizza Planet here.
Yeah.
Because you are going off before you get to the official entrance. So I do agree with that this could have gotten a Pizza Planet and it could have still fit, thinking that you were outside of Andy's backyard, but they decided to theme it inside of his backyard still, which is why you can't go any other route. But
Right.
if you put characters walking around in there, it just
I
there's-
feel
you
like
couldn't
the
do it.
only
You couldn't
one
do
you
it.
could do though are the toys army men.
You could have the army men come through. It would that'd be good. It would have to be secondary characters.
I feel like
Yeah.
because like Woody and Buzz, they're like they're bigger.
Yeah.
And I think we're supposed to be small. I don't know.
Probably.
But
it would have to be, it wouldn't be a character dining in the sense of let's go to the table, let's get photos, let's get autographs.
Right.
You're right. It would be more of a show.
mhm.
It would be the army men walking through.
Yep.
Different things like that I think could potentially work. All right, let's move on to number 6.
And that is storybook dining at Artist Point. I don't know why I always want to say Storybrooke.
I know, I do too.
That's why I
Yeah.
was hesitant. I think this is really cool when they rethemed it and everything.
Yeah.
It's beautiful inside. I love the tree. Like you feeling like you're outside, the tree coming through. And then, it is character, which is the 7 dwarves, but not all
No, not all.
7
No, you get
come
Snow
out.
White. I don't know if they rotate the doors. I know when we went, it was Snow White, Grumpy, then you get the Evil Queen.
Yes.
Which right there, atmosphere alone, it's one of the best meet and greets
Oh,
you'll ever
she's amazing.
encounter.
She's amazing.
And even this is another one. Yeah, like you said, you've got the trees coming through. It has that indoor-outdoor feel. Feel like you're in the forest. You're in Snow White's forest.
So cool.
7 doors coming by, and Grumpy at that point, who was acting grumpy. And then even when you come down to the food and the way that it's presented, like that
Yeah.
mushroom soup is in like a very small, what looks like a cauldron.
Yeah.
Remember the dessert that comes out in
Yes.
that box that opens up and the smoke and stuff comes out.
We need to go back.
Like it is just from beginning to end, and it fits so well within Wilderness Lodge. You know, if you,
Oh, yeah.
if somebody
'Cause
come to me originally and was like, all right, what IP do we want to put in Wilderness Lodge for a restaurant? I don't know. I would have thought of that. But it
I don't
fits
either.
so well in
Yeah,
there.
it does.
It's so perfect.
Mhm.
And I would like to get back there. I remember that's what I want to get back to for the food, because I remember enjoying it, but not being just absolutely blown away by it.
Right.
but I know it was good.
Mhm.
I think 'cause I'm trying to remember what we even got at that point. I have to look.
I
at
remember
how it
the
changed.
mushroom
I feel like you got a lamb
soup.
shank or something, and I might have had the prime rib or something at that point.
Yeah.
And again, this is going back a little
This is
ways.
going, yeah.
So it's another one to put back on our list.
Yep.
But I just will never forget meeting the evil queen.
Yeah, that was
It's
super
so
cool.
good. And she's got the backdrop and everything for her little part in
Yeah.
there. And they did such a good job of that without, I'm trying to think of another character dining, and I'm sure somebody will correct me, that you have to get up from your table to go meet that character as opposed to them coming around to your table. Because this would not work with the evil queen coming around and greeting you at your table.
No.
Because the last thing she wants to do is even see your face. I mean, so for the fact that you have to get up
Yeah.
and go see her just fits so well
Yeah.
into the entire atmosphere of it all.
Yeah, it does. 100%.
All right, we're going to move into our top 5. What is number 5? We will be dining there in 2 weeks. Yeah, we'll be dining there in 2 weeks.
Yeah. And that is Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater. And I really talk about theming. I mean, it is a drive-in movie theater, and it plays all old school, like black and white
Yeah.
sci-fi
Mhm.
movies.
Mhm.
And so it's dark in there. There's tables, but there's a like fake car you can sit in.
Yeah.
It is really cool and weird because you're eating.
Is. And it's a little dark.
It's very dark because well, you have little lights
Mhm.
though. But it's dark because you're gonna watch a movie.
Yeah.
I remember going the first time, and it was really weird. It was super funny because the girls fell asleep because it's dark in there.
Yeah.
And they were tired, and they got to sit down, and then it was cool, and they were like, "All right," zonked out. This was one of the first times that I've ever done anything, and then I feel like later after this came. And I know Disney Springs is there, which the dine-in theater where you can watch a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember like the
Drive-in
theaters. Like I think there was one here.
I think I've ever actually been to
trying
one.
to remember if I've been to one, but I mean, I remember all that kind of stuff, and I think it's really cool, but I've never like had a meal, and this was so different but neat.
It is. Yeah,
So,
I mean, even down, you're playing these old school black and white B movie sci-fi movies, but in between you're getting the, let's all go to the lobby like commercials, your old school,
right.
Drive-in commercials, and it's all on this big projected screen. And then even in the back, I mean, the way that it's set up where the kitchen all comes from, looks like it's a big concession stand area. And the fact, you can sit in this like car and eat, and even down to the theming of the food, which is burgers and fries and onion rings and shakes. And salad. I mean, it's 1950s nostalgia.
Yeah.
And they do such a good job of it here. And I'm so much more excited to go in 2 weeks for the atmosphere than I am the food.
Yes.
And that right there tells you like, okay, this should probably be on a list somewhere.
Yeah.
Like hopefully the food's good. It's been a while. I mean,
Yeah.
it's burgers. It's, sandwiches. It's salads. I'll probably get a burger or something. I know it'll be good, but that's not what I'm looking forward to. Like I'm looking forward to that experience of just sitting there and watching the movies and and just laughing because they're garbage. I mean, they're awful. It's the ones with like 50-foot ants. It looks like a kid's play set.
Yeah, that's
like it's
right.
so bad.
That's funny.
We're gonna stay in Hollywood Studios, and we're gonna move on to number 4.
Yep.
And what is that? I really love this place for being a place that I never wanted to love.
50s Primetime Cafe.
Yeah.
It is really cool, down to checking in and them calling you for the party and ready to eat, and then sitting. And it if you did grow up in the 50s, I mean, it's your mama's kitchen, and probably what you would see in any mama's, grandmama's kitchen. And the food is what you would make. It is your comfort food, your fried chicken. Like, that I hate to say it like this, but this was back in the days that mama slaved over and mama's in the kitchen and, the kids come home and dad's worked all day and, they come home from school and you sit down and you eat and you keep your elbows off the table and
take your hat off.
And you talk about school
no
and you might
devices.
even pray before you eat. It's really cool.
Well done.
Yeah.
And again, down to the cast members and them being, your aunt and your uncle as your servers. The fact that they, again, depending if they're super busy, you get much more of a standardized wait staff and interaction. If they're not crazy busy, they'll tell you to get your elbows off the table. They'll tell you to take your hat off. They'll tell you to put your phone down. And it just does such a good job of that. And if you're our age, even though we didn't grow up in the 50s and the 60s, personally, our parents did and our grandparents did. I know like that's probably what your grandmother's kitchen looked like. Even though you didn't have to grow up in the 50s. I feel like a lot of people that did that were our grandparents' age or were our grandparents' age kept that for a long time.
Yeah.
You didn't have to go to your grandma's and it was in this modern day kitchen.
Yeah, my grandma, it might not look like it does at 50s primetime, but she for sure, when she made dinner, it was an all-day thing.
Affair, right? Yeah.
And it was all like from scratch and it was amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the food not only is good, most everything we've had, literally, even the healthy stuff.
Yeah. It's all been very good.
It's very good. That lends to the theming to me.
It does. It fits perfectly. And down to the TVs that are throughout playing, 1950s black and white newscasts and shows, and like Leave It to Beaver. And that's like, too, we still grew up a lot watching things like Leave It to Beaver.
Right.
Or, was it My Three Sons, Andy Griffith Show? We watch things like that. And then you walk into here and be like, I've seen this before. Where did I see it? I Dream of Jeannie.
Right.
We watch those still because our parents watched them.
Yeah.
And we kind of just did as well. Yeah. And you go, this looks exactly like that.
Right.
And I think it's amazing. All right, let's move on to number 3. We got another castle. We're heading to Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
Where are we going to? And this starts from the moment you walk up.
Be our guest.
Yep.
Be our guest. Yeah, it's super cool. I love this one. I love Beauty and the Beast. It's my favorite. So this was awesome. I do want to go and have dinner here because it is different now.
Yeah.
But
well, lunch and dinner.
Well, yeah.
Still,
I would like to have dinner,
yes.
like where you go and.
Yeah, we've never done the prefix.
Correct.
But now you can get it at lunch as well. Where it used to be, it was the.
I think I'd like to do dinner.
I'd
like to do dinner.
I would too. And that's the one time that the Beast will come out and around. This isn't character dining.
He just comes around and walks around.
Come out and walk around.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's Beast Castle, and you've got the dining room, you've got his room,
you got the West Wing, you've got the library,
and the library.
All are your 3 different sections.
Yep.
And they're just they're themed so well.
So good.
When you're in the big dining ballroom and it's snowing outside, like you're truly transported into a completely different atmosphere.
Yeah.
And it's another one, I think, because it's so large. Now, the West Wing can be a little louder, I feel like. The main banquet's pretty good because it's so large, but it's a lot of hustle and bustle.
It is.
To me, the library really fits. Like, again, somehow they got the library to be almost quieter and
super
more quaint.
Cool. Yeah.
And I don't know how they did that.
I don't either.
I don't know if it's
Disney
just
magic.
Yeah, but they have a way of building an atmosphere where I think probably you as a guest are in there and subconsciously you're thinking like, all right, we're in a library.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, let's chill out a little bit. Like, we don't have to be too crazy, and it works really, really well.
Yeah.
But from that moment, throughout Magic Kingdom and Fantasyland, where you can see the castle, and as you walk up and through the big gates. And across that small little moat area, there's like a little kind of bridge area with the moat. And it's just, it's so good here. This was, it's funny, our top 3, we just unanimously agreed on. Like, this was easy.
Yes, we did.
And number 2, I think number 2 is the one we might get the most, I can tell you, number 2 is the one we'll get the most hate for.
Why?
I don't think people are as impressed by it sometimes that we are. So you either are or you aren't. What are we talking about?
Space 220 over at Epcot.
I'm super impressed. I think it's amazing.
Okay. I would like to know why the hate, because, I mean, talk
Screens.
about
It's just screens.
theming, but
so,
still.
So much of this, and I can get it kind of like, so much of this relies on those giant screens where there's really
Why, is
not
it not
a
working?
lot. No, it is. But I'm saying, but where not a lot is truly happening. But again, for me, atmosphere is from the moment you check in and you get your little boarding pass.
That is so cool. And
I
then
agree.
you have to go in and then you have to wait, and there's like no windows and no doors, and then you get in and you go up to a space station and then you walk through, and like we're not on the ground, so you have to grow your vegetables and stuff differently.
When you walk through that tunnel,
that's
that like
super
rotating
cool.
tunnel thing. I think it's
And then
amazing.
you come
don't have to sell
around.
me, man. I think it's awesome. I love it.
You come around and you enter this big room that is where you're in space, and you're going to eat, and you're going to like look out into the space, and like they have this giant bar, and then you could sit in the lounge, you could sit and anywhere. This is also like tiered where you can see no matter where you're at. Yeah. And you're in freaking space, man.
I think it's cool. And again,
and
I
the
think
food's really good,
and
like,
the atmosphere lends to the food as well. Things like starry calamari, like that shrimp cocktail, just the presentation of everything and the way that it's brought to you. Chris and all the other wonderful bartenders there at the bar area, and the drinks that they're concocting.
Oh my gosh, the last time I had a
amazing.
drink was a dirty martini. He got me, and it was all sparkly.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I was like, I want this all the time.
Yeah. And while they're
sparkles in my drink,
I don't know if they've been completely phased out now. I know they were. The cards that you used to get with ordering the kids
have
drink.
them.
Yeah, we've got a bunch. We have a bunch of unopened packs.
Ooh, don't tell anybody.
Yeah,
They might
we have
want
one of those coveted white cards too.
Ooh.
That we did open. But yeah, I think people wanted this to be more. I guess they wanted more going on. Like they wanted giant space fights and stuff. I don't know.
Okay,
I mean,
well.
I'm not sure what they wanted.
I don't
there,
either.
But
there is a lot going on.
Yeah, I think so too. And honestly, it'd be distracting if there was too much going on out there.
Absolutely.
If all of a sudden there were...
It's space. You can't, like, you have people floating by every once in a while. It's... Have you never been to... I'm just kidding.
Well, and I think maybe people wanted to see this as... Maybe they wish it was a Star Wars restaurant where there is a lot going on there. Imagine you're sitting on a Star Destroyer watching a battle outside.
Okay, go over
But that's
to
what Rise of the
Oga's
Resistance is for. We're not going to get that at Oga's, but
still, go over there go to Hollywood Studios.
No, I agree. I think that people expected more out of what was going to be happening in those windows, and I like it. It has a nice, calm feel. It has a quietness to it.
Space.
I think it's great, and that's why it makes our number 2. So there's only one left.
This is our opinion
This
too,
is our
by
opinion
the way.
Too. We didn't use any sort of third party like touring plan ratings or any of that stuff. This is straight up us. So what's left? We've
Number
got one
one.
more.
Ready? Shout it out. Yes, you are correct. It is Cinderella's Royal Table over at Magic Kingdom. And I mean,
it's a no-brainer.
It is.
You're eating in Cinderella Castle.
You're literally. Literally.
What more do you want, people?
You see, from the second you're walking down Main Street and you see this giant castle, then you walk through it, and on your left is Bippity Boppity Boutique, and then on your right is the check-in for Cinderella's Royal Table, and then when you do, and then you go up the stairs, and it's grand, and then you go into the. I mean, talk about wow.
Yeah.
Talk about. I'm in a castle. Holy crap.
Yep.
Like, I'll never forget the first time I had a Beauty and the Beast shirt on, actually, and shorts. And I felt way underdressed. Yeah. Now, the second time we did it was our anniversary, and we... and
it was Dapper Day.
Dapper Day, and we bounded as Eric and Ariel.
Yeah.
And I had this dress on and my hair done, and I felt like a princess.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was in... I was in a castle. And just everything around from the seats to looking out the stained glass windows over the carousel. Like, yeah,
it's incredible.
it is.
I mean, and I just, that's like that'd be a dream of so many people to say, I get to eat inside of Cinderella Castle.
Yeah.
Imagine walking in with your kids and they don't know. They didn't do the planning. What do they know, man? They don't know what restaurants there are. But imagine walking down Main Street and like looking at your daughter or your son and just being like, isn't that castle beautiful? And they're like, yeah. And you're like, how cool would it be if you could just be in there, go in there, eat in there? And they'd be like, I want to do that. And then you were like, well, we are. Because you're like at a reservation. And they'd be like, what?
Yep.
Like you don't think of that, especially when you look at, I love that like Spaceship Earth, obviously you can go inside, Tree of Life, you get that opportunity to go in. I'm going to say Chinese Theater is the landmark. I know it's
you
Tower
get to
of Terror,
go in it, but Tower of Terror, you can go in.
But imagine if all of those you could eat in them.
Yeah.
Like this one, you get to go and you get to sit and
Tower
you get to
of
take
Terror.
it all in. I still want a Hollywood Tower Hotel,
That'd be
dining experience or
that'd be cool.
Whatever it may be. I think all of the landmarks should have some form of dining inside of them.
I agree.
That would be super cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, Cinderella Castle is just it's stunning.
It is.
It really is, and the fact that you get to go in there and
Yes.
sit and take it all in and spend some time is just it's amazing. And you get the princesses, and they're all back now.
Yeah.
Like that's a reason.
That's really cool. Yeah, the
last
last time, and she only waved.
Afar.
Yes.
So yeah, to get back and have all the princesses back,
and the way they're dressed, everybody's dressed. Your waitresses and waiters, like, oh, it just, I want to go back.
It's elegant.
There
You feel
again.
like royalty.
You do. And if I do, I'm going to make a point just because I just love it to probably wear a dress again.
We would, or we could Disney bound again as something else. We could find
Cinderella.
Yeah,
I'll Disney
do
bound
something
to
like
Cinderella.
that. Yeah, that would be cool. But again, as Rhonda said, these are our opinions.
Yes.
We'd love to hear you. You don't have to go through 20, like we did, but your top 5. What are some of your favorite atmospheres? I mean, another would be like, what atmospheres would you like to see? Like, what do you think that they are missing? For me, again, it'd be a Hollywood Tower Hotel or Tiana's Palace. I think would be a super cool atmosphere.
That would be cool.
Thank you all so much for listening. We truly appreciate it. If you have not done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. If you want to join in on all the incredible happenings the last weekend in April for Main Street 16 Challenge Weekend, we have a deluxe Villa Resort raffle currently going on.
Ooh.
We have a trivia night that Friday evening. Tickets are on sale for that.
Woohoo!
You can sign up for the ride challenge on Saturday individually, teams of 2, get a team of 4, whatever you want. Go ahead to mainstreet16.com. Learn more. If you cannot participate, you can still donate. And as long as you're out there, we'd be super thankful if you could please leave us a rating and review.
Because it'll help our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.